All right, let's talk about adrenaline. You probably think you know all about it, right? That heart-pounding fight or flight rush. But what if I told you there's a whole other side to this story? We're going to dive into how your body creates this, well, this temporary superpower, and more importantly, what happens when that power just runs out. So let's start with a big question. What is adrenaline actually for? Yeah, I know, your mind probably jumps straight to those crazy life or death moments, the classic fight or flight stuff. And you're not wrong, but that's really only half the story. See, here's the thing. Adrenaline, it's a double agent. It's what fuels those beast mode moments, for sure. But it also handles the quiet, totally normal stuff that keeps you going day in and day out. So it's the hormone of extremes, but it's also the hormone of the everyday. Kind of wild when you think about it. All right, let's really get into this.
Okay, first up, let's pull back the curtain on the secret life of adrenaline. We're going to look at the hidden, everyday job this amazing hormone does. The work it puts in quietly, in the background, even when you're just chilling out.
Believe it or not, it's pretty much always working. You know that little background hum of adrenaline? That's what's keeping you from getting all dizzy when you jump up off the couch too fast. It's what helps you stay focused during that 3 p.m. meeting. It's even helping manage your metabolism and guiding your whole sleep-wake cycle. It really is the silent partner in your day-to-day life.
So if it's always kind of there, what makes that crazy, intense, heart-pounding rush feel so completely different? How in the world does your body create this short-lived superpower? Okay, let's get into the science of how that rush actually happens. So, adrenaline is made in these little things called your adrenal glands, and they sit right on top of your kidneys. And when something scares you or even just excites you, bam! These glands just dump it into your system. And it acts like this incredibly powerful signal, putting your entire body on high alert, like instantly. But here's what's absolutely wild, and probably the most surprising part of all this. This incredible power, it's gone in a flash. Adrenaline has a half-life of only 2 to 3 minutes in your blood. Let that sink in. Half of it is gone in less time than it takes to listen to most songs. It's designed to be a lightning strike, not a long, slow burn. Your body has this super clever cycle, right? It can produce adrenaline almost instantly when something happens, but it's also got a built-in cleanup crew, mostly in your liver, that gets rid of it just as fast. The whole system is perfectly designed for these short, super powerful bursts. It is absolutely not built for a marathon. But what happens when that threat or that stressor just doesn't go away? What happens when your body is forced to stay in that emergency red alert state for, say, 15 minutes? Or what about 30 minutes? The source material just nails the description of this. It's like riding a biological roller coaster. It's not some steady state of high alert. No, it's chaotic. You get these sharp climbs, these sudden drops. It's internal whiplash. Your body keeps trying to push you back to that peak, but every time it does, the whole thing just gets more violent and way more draining. So let's walk through an extreme scenario, okay? Imagine you're running from a fire. For those first few minutes, you feel like a superhero, totally invincible. That's peak performance. But as time ticks by, your body's resources just start to buckle under the strain. And that fatigue, it quickly turns into a full-on system overload. And before you know it, you are heading straight for a total collapse. And I want to be clear, this isn't just a feeling. It is a complete physiological takeover. We're talking a clenched jaw, eyes wide open, your heart is hammering so hard and fast, it's not even pumping blood efficiently anymore. You're gasping for air, breaking out in a cold sweat, your hands are trembling, and your vision starts to blur at the edges. Your body's pushing every single system to its absolute breaking point. And this right here brings us to the critical point. Think about it. No system, none, can run at 110% forever. It's just not possible. Eventually, the fuel runs out and the whole operation comes crashing down. So let's do a little autopsy here. Let's look at the anatomy of that system crash. First up, your liver. It's been working overtime, just dumping glucose, that's sugar, into your bloodstream for quick energy. Well, it runs out. The readily available supply is just gone. Your primary fuel tank is officially on empty. Okay, next, the receptors on your cells, they get totally overwhelmed. They're being bombarded with this constant emergency signal, and they just become saturated. It's almost like they're putting their fingers in their ears and shouting, "I can't hear you." They literally stop responding effectively to the adrenaline. And then, the final piece. The entire system that was managing this whole fight-or-flight show, your sympathetic nervous system, it just
gives out. It collapses. It goes from hyperdrive straight into a complete and total shutdown.
This whole event, this has a name. It's called a sympathetic crash, and it's brutal. Your body goes from feeling like a finely tuned weapon ready for absolutely anything to feeling like, well, a wet rag. It's a sudden, profound, and total depletion of everything you've got.
And this right here, it just perfectly shows you that violent contrast. On one side, you have the peak rush, max heart rate, super high blood pressure, laser-sharp focus. And on the other side, the crash. You get the exact opposite, an inefficient heart rate, dangerously low blood pressure, that's hypotension, plus confusion, nausea, even numbness. It is a complete and total system failure.
So, okay, what's the big takeaway here? Why does any of this matter for your everyday life? I mean, most of us aren't running from fires on a Tuesday, right?
There's this analogy that just hits the nail on the head. Think of your adrenaline system like a fire extinguisher that only shoots flames. I mean, it's absolutely critical for a real emergency, right? But it's pretty dangerous if you start using it every single day. And that's exactly what chronic stress does. From work, from life, whatever. It's like you're constantly pushing that emergency button. And eventually, you're gonna burn out.
So here's the bottom line, the most important thing to remember. Your adrenaline system is a tool for survival, not a strategy for living. It's designed for moments, not for a lifestyle. It's an incredible power, for sure, but it's meant to be temporary. Because nobody, and I mean nobody, can live in a permanent state of emergency. You just end up consuming yourself from the inside out.
So this all leaves us with a final, really important question. Your emergency system. It's a masterpiece of evolution. But do you remember where the off switch is? Because true strength isn't just about knowing how to turn it on. It's about knowing when and how to power back down. Thanks for joining us for this explainer.